Canon presents at the Photokina two new models. First, the G7X in the compact class, and in the DSLR class, the 7D Mark II. The 7D is a little bit longer on the market. Now comes the update, and the 7D is especially for sport photographers and action photographers. The camera has up to 10 frames per second. Also the video quality is better. You can go up to 60p full HD mode. The body is sealed, water resistant, dust proof. So that's a good opportunity also to work in hard environment like sailing or stuff like this. The camera goes up to 10 frames per second, as I said, so it's very fast. And you have a built-in Wi-Fi module and a built-in GPS module. So that's also the new functions of the 7D Mark II. Another option is the HDMI output. You can have the uncompressed HDMI output to save the video signal on an external device. So that's also important for professional filmers who like the best quality in HDMI. One thing, there's no 4K video in the 7D Mark II, only full HD mode. But it's still a nice update, and Canon offers some new lenses. One very important for this camera is the 400mm f2.8 lens. A very nice and for sport photographer, very important lens. So that's a real nice package. The 7D Mark II with the 400mm f2.2 lens. Coming to the compact camera, also number 7, and we have 4.2 zoom with 24 to 105mm. And the good thing is we have a bigger sensor. We have a 1-inch sensor at the compact camera, so you can work a little bit with the depth of field. It's not the small sensor like in the other compact cameras. And the camera is fast. We go up to 6.5 frames per second. We have Wi-Fi with NFCs on board, and we have the turnable screen for selfies, and it's a touch screen with shutter release also. Full HD mode, 60p, and yeah, so that's a real nice package and a real nice camera, which is a very good camera if you have a DSLR and want to work like a DSLR. You have some dials and like the dial for changing the aperture, and so that's a very good camera if you have a DSLR and want a smaller camera. Two questions are still at Canon. Question number 1, EOS M system. There's no new camera at the Photokina, but maybe next year we will see some new things in the EOS M area. And the next question, middle format DSLR camera. Also, there's nothing from Canon. There were some rumors that Canon will offer a new middle format DSLR, but no, there's no new in this class. So these are the two cameras from Canon, the DSLR 7D Mark II and the G7X. Olympus presented on the Photokina two new models. Okay, one model is not a real new model, it's an update of a well-known camera from Olympus, and that's the OMD EM1. You may know this model, and the small difference between the old one and the new one, that's the silver black line. The old one is only black, and the new one, which comes out at the Photokina or after the Photokina, is the combination of the black and silver. And there are also new functions in the camera. They have a new firmware for the OMD EM1, and you can use this firmware also for the older models. So if you have an OMD EM1, you can update this with the new firmware. Two interesting functions in the new firmware. One are more art filters. You have two new art filters, and a very important function for the professional photographers, that's the tethering function. So you can put a USB cable from the camera to your computer. You have the live picture of the camera on your computer, and you can release the camera from your computer, so you have a software there, and you can completely remote control the camera via the tethering function. For professionals who work in the studio, that's a very important function which only the OMD EM1 has. No other cameras will get the firmware update, so only the EM1 has this new tethering function. The second new model, and that's a real new model, that's the Pen EPL7. The Pen EPL5 was the former model. Yes, there was a 6 in between, but the 7, that's the real new model. The sensor is the same, and the outline or the buttons and the dials are almost the same, but there's one new thing at the EPL7, and that's the control monitor. You can move the control monitor under the camera for selfies. Usually at the other cameras, the monitor is on top of the camera. The reason why Olympus did this under the camera is because you still have these accessory port here, or flash port, where you can put in a external electronic viewfinder. And so the reason is simple: if the monitor is under the camera, you can still use the electronic viewfinder and use the control monitor for self-control, or if you want to, if someone wants to control the picture, you can go like this. The camera, the EPL7, is orientated for bloggers because it's a small, a lightweight camera. The selfie function is perfect for bloggers. You have these nice art filters. Here also you have the 2 new art filters, which are also in the OMD EM10 and in the newer models of Olympus. So this is a real nice lightweight camera with good picture quality. And so the goal is to get it to bloggers because it's also look nice, the white color, and yeah, that's the EPL7. So these are the 2 new models from Olympus: the OMD EM1 and the Olympus Pen EPL7.